Get myself in focus. Am I in focus? It is important that I'm in focus. What's up, everybody? You know, music is life for me. Before every show, I'm bumping. Actually, before the show, I'm very quiet. I am contemplative. I'm looking at my notes. I'm maybe even trimming my beard, which sometimes run me over, and I have to rush out here. But music is life, man. Y'all know that for me. And I'm listening right now to Keith Murray live. But let me get him out the ear for a minute. Hip hop is life, man. This is people that look like me. I celebrate their music. Hip hop is one of those genres. In fact, I am from New York City. I was a shorty in the jams in the parks that we see the documentaries of. And there's always the focus of the camera on the people that are actually doing the rapping back in the day. And obviously, that's where it should be. But then if you take a look out beyond them, there are people in that crowd that weren't rappers, that never became famous, were just regular people in the neighborhood. And there were little shorties. Shorties run around in New York all the time, detached from their parents if they could get outside and play back in the day. So I was one of those people at the primordial beginnings of hip hop that was not on the mic yet, but I was definitely in the background. So I celebrate our music just like I celebrate this channel and I celebrate us as Black folks. This is the Ron Raphael channel. So let me just say that right away. And this is a Black Gen X man. And this is the perspective that I come from on this channel. My other channel, the Legacy of Learning channel, it is a calling, a purpose channel, in which I think I should be working in a genre of education and something that I think is very important for our culture, right? So in order for Keith Murray, this gentleman who is so prolific, and you never know who has it, man. You hear him on the radio, right? You listen to their music, you do everything you need to do. You eventually like this person or become a fan and you group them with the rest. But there's another level. And when you see someone perform, you recognize that level. DMX was one of those guys. He just had it. And I was watching some hip hop documentaries recently and also underground hip hop that's happening now for some work that I'm doing. And I ran across a live performance with Eric Sermon, Keith Murray, and Redman. And that's what I was listening to here to get me up and ready for the show. And yes, you got to have it, whatever that it is. And some have it, some don't. But we all have some gift. And the gift I've been working on is the gift of communication. For some reason, there are people that do nothing but communicate, either through entertainment or through other means. And that is their job. They bring value to people's lives somehow, and people pay them one way or another, either with their attention that you're giving me now at the moment that you're giving, or they pay monetarily, some way or another. Some people have it, that thing. And I'm hoping I have it as well. And when you have it, you got to go all in on what you want, believe, and desire to be your purpose. And that's what I'm doing here. So in the process of doing this, I'm working on all my stuff. I'm working on the channel. I'm working on becoming a better videographer or shooter. The thing that you see, bringing you quality, the highest quality I can give possible. But then there's something else. There is value. What is the value? Well, for me today, the thumbnail says, and hopefully this has value of some sort to you, maybe someone around you, I don't know, maybe contemplating or considering doing their own thing one way or another. Invariably, they will have to communicate their message in one way or another. And this platform, along with Facebook, is the most pervasive platforms in the entire world for reaching people. So if I were to encourage a business person on any level, encourage them to market their business in some way or another, ultimately, the conversation would have to rest on the platforms where those advertisements will eventually reach and who they will reach. So there's no way around it, no matter what generation you're in. Gen X, like myself, millennials, and all the others, and even the ones behind us are still trying to do this thing. But when you do it, there's one formula and one way to do it. You have to find a way to reach your audience once you find them. The first step is finding them. So on to the topic of this conversation, the Black Gen X man and his reflections on insights or the process of monetizing and turning this into a profession. And just like anything else I did, you can't go in halfway. You got to go all in. I remember starting my barbering career. It was right here at my house, in my home. Well, it was another home, another place, another time, but it boils down to the same thing. Me working from my garage, building a business that ultimately turned into a cosmetology career in which that I've mastered certain things, but I've mastered my industry. That is for sure. I went from the bedroom, cutting hair, my mom's house, high school, all the way to a professional stylist on a runway stage, working with an elite product company. And that process I am very in tune with. But it is a shame that there are many people in the world that have got caught up in the dragnet of along and dragged into someone else's calling. And someone else's calling has to do with manipulating other people on a mass scale so they can get you to do their thing. I'm here to tell you that that is not what we're supposed to be doing. So on the way to doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I've always felt out of place and a sore thumb everywhere I went, professionally, consistently, no matter how much education I have accomplished or amassed, how many certifications, how much experience, no matter how much more qualified I was than any other possible candidates in a pool, I was never treated as such. I don't know the feeling of being a prime target for employment unless the prime target, being myself, is used to make sure that that person on the other end gets what they want. I've never been thought about in the same way. And if you have, as a Black person, I commend you. I'm asking for the key, the lock, but at this point, I really could care less because I know what's going on, or at least I think I know what's going on. What it is that if they can't use you, they don't want you. And I've never given off. Let me put it like this. I've always given off an entrepreneurial spirit that can compete with any level of passion that anyone else has had. And I've backed it up with education. And I've always been a tenacious individual to begin with. So I think what happens with me is once I get in scenarios and I don't know how to keep my mouth shut, that the system, the institutions that are exactly designed to do what they're supposed to do, which is suppress me in my masculinity. I can't go nowhere without having to curb what I need to say or not say what needs to be said. And that is the feeling of feeling out of place. I have never walked into an institution, a place, and they've said, you know what, based on your background, your experience, your education, we respect you and we're willing to hear you out, especially when you have something important to add after analysis and understanding an industry. So for a Black man, it's almost a godsend to have some place where you can do your thing. But hold up, it's not as easy as it looks with this YouTube thing. What's going on with YouTube with me right now is I'm mastering the steps, mastering and crafting an order, an offer, pardon me. But a product, something of value needs to be offered. Okay, years of experience, educated. I would like to help people that look like me, particularly young boys that are reading at a fourth grade reading level. I would like to help them push that, and all of us, that ceiling. I would like to break that ceiling, shatter it. So that's not what one of our situations is in this country. And that's one of the components that is keeping us where we are. There are many. So on my way to finishing up and working on these things, I had to figure out a bunch of other tertiary skills that I had to put together. And good thing I had a foundation. And that's what my other channel is about. You need a strong foundation. Otherwise, you're caught up, you're lost. And as a black man, there's nothing for you. No one's coming to save you. You can't demand someone pays for your date. Drizzle, drizzle. We'll talk about that in a little bit. As I said, this channel is about me and about me being able to express being a black man, a Generation X black man, and say some of the things that most of us are, quite frankly, completely restrained from being able to do because of our background, our inclination not to, our work, the people we're around, the women in our lives. Black men are in a box. You turn this way and you say something wrong, someone that works me toos you. You do like this and you say something to your wife, she leaves you and takes half. We are literally in a box, and I'm tired of it. And that's one of the themes of today as well. So, YouTube. So, I take this challenge back to YouTube a month ago, clearly delineated steps to take. So, I've been executing these steps in my own way, a little bit haphazard, but I have ways of putting me back on point. So, anyway, I completely develop a funnel system and ads to bring people directly to my site. Now, it can either be done organically because you have such a riveting personality and people are following you already for one reason or another. That wasn't me. Or because of what product you have, you would like to put it in front of an audience. Once you figure out who they are, YouTube is excellent at giving you an ad uh, option that once in the ad system, you can specify age, demographic, sociographic, psychographic information. It's pretty impressive to target the hundreds of millions of people that subscribe and use Facebook. Makes sense. So I did everything I needed to do. I followed those who had built funnels before. I looked into companies that develop funnel systems for you to go through. And I found that with these funnel systems, they're basically giving you a logical step by step and then plugging in breakpoints. Let's say someone decides to purchase, they go all the way through, then their email goes to purchase. If they stop somewhere in the process of purchasing your offer, which is okay, you can capture that information and have analytics on how far they went and what is their circumstance. Why are most people stuck at this level and they haven't progressed and moved on? So funnels are like that. Now, once someone buys, they'll send them an email. And so it's basically an automated system that once you capture someone and they decide to walk into the door or your store, that once in there, the funnel system helps them make a decision and directs them. But along the way, analytics are being collected. Therefore, in the future, you can adjust your system to help people make that final decision and move on to something that will have benefit, which is whatever your product is in their life. So that's the funnel system in a nutshell. So I've done work on that. Website is put together, the ads, so on and so forth. So I said, you know what? The funnel system is asking for money. The ads are asking for money. Let me take my time and make sure I execute this right. So I did take my time. Execution is another question. So I'm taking my time. And finally, I get to the step where I need to place the ad. I go into the ad, I click boost this ad. So I've been here before. I've done ads for other folks. And once I open it, it tells me Facebook has restricted your ability to post ads. So I have a book and all the work that's been done. I want to reach people with this. I think it's a valuable product and I can't wait to see it work and bring value to other people's lives, in particular young people. and their families, because don't tell me that parents, uncles, aunties don't get joy from showing up to a graduation, don't get joy, aren't fully involved with the process of enjoying with a graduate their accomplishment. Guess what? You get to also enjoy those that graduate with honors. It brings you a particular level of joy that is higher than just seeing them walk across the stage. We have interest in stock in this process, right? And so the 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 channel and the book is designed to bring all of this information finally for me to sit back, regardless of whatever happens, that I know I can go to my place of calling, last and final place, being able to stand in line with the rest. And when Gabriel says, "What have you done?" I will have something to say, not in of service to myself, but in of service to you and the world. So I get ready to make the ad and I cannot. So all the time, the investment, the work over the past month and a half to bring me to this point, and I knew it's never easy. It's never easy, guys. It's never easy. That meme of that guy hanging from the branch and his feet are this close to the ground, but he doesn't know it. That's exact. You never know how close you are, but it is never easy. Now I've let go. I've let go completely. Though I can reach back anytime I want. I'm a skilled man and I keep putting out resumes to see. And I encourage you to do the same. If you have a career, whether you're working on an entrepreneurial career or not, if you have a career going, you should interview every 6 months, no matter what's going on. Why? To keep both sides honest, to test the industry, to see where you are with your skills, and also to make sure to let them know, whether it is a subconscious thing by how you walk around so confidently, that, hey, I'm valuable and other people may want this value. In fact, it's been 6 months. Let me book another couple of interviews and see what's going on in the industry. So, yes, do that. Always test your industry. So, back to my YouTube process and insights. So, yeah, that is the number one thing that I'm dealing with at the moment. And there are workarounds. I'll figure it out. One is to, start another Facebook page. I don't have millions of followers. And I started a new page specifically that was given to me as a task by someone who does this type of work that I've been listening to. And if you are aspiring to do YouTube, you have to spend hundreds of hours watching it. There's only one way to do it. If you watch a lot of TV, movies are your thing, you're going to have to drop it. You can't be on a platform and expect to master it and become part of that community without studying it intimately. Intimately. All right? So that's what's going on. And that's with any industry. You need to spend exponentially more hours in training, in practice before you perform. Your performance is the end result of a subconscious thing that you have mastered. It should be. And that's one of the tricks of performance and why you see people like Keith Murray kill it, because he didn't have to worry about the words anymore. He didn't have to worry about what's going on. He did it for so long that all we got to see was the finished product and his talent shine. I wonder how many of us are walking around with a hidden talent that if they had some light exposed, shined on it for just a moment, that the rest of the world will go, "What the? Hold on, what's going on? No, you're doing this again." And and we're gonna tell everybody about it. How many of those people are around you? You might be that very person. So anyway, the process, it has been crazy. YouTube is a business. It is very deep. And most of the business happens in an analytical form. You have to be able to read the data and figure out what's going on. And then you have to drop any bravado And you have to humble yourself and you have to learn from others. Most of the people that I have enlisted in and have invested my time in to learn from have been people considerably younger than me. But there are those that are on my level, age wise and higher, that should not be ignored as well. I think the message is here is do not hate the messenger, whatever whatever they look like. You know what I mean? You never know how Jesus shows up. Oh, I went religious on us. My bad, my bad. So that's what's going on with the YouTube thing. So, and the first steps as to give you something specific, how much of a progression this has been. The thumbnail. If you were to look at my thumbnails, I don't know if you've noticed slight difference in that. And that has been one of the things nagging me for a little bit. Man, I have cameras. I've shot photography. How come I cannot figure out this thumbnail thing? Once again, I had to humble myself and watch videographers and YouTube people half my age break it down, what it is and how it works and what is the draw. Pardon me. Let me hit this in. I knew this was going to happen. Hey, man, we find it as we go. Info. Okay, we're back in. That's my camera, my DSLR, the one that gives you this look. So where was I? I forget. But anyway, so as I'm doing this thing, I'm learning about the AI, the algorithm is what it is affectionately called, but it's an AI system. But it's not just one. There are different AIs working on different aspects of YouTube. There are different ways to monetize yourself. There isn't just one YouTube. There's avenues to be in. There's shorts. There's long form content. There's podcasting, lives. So in the past few months, what I was doing was getting to know myself, self-discovery. Where do I want to be? Where should I be? Who will my audience be on both sides? My personal channel, Ron Raphael, the Black Gen X man, as I coined myself recently, or on my other channel, The Legacy of Learning. And all of these steps, guess what? You don't have to worry about any of these steps if you're not running a business. Guess who does these things on a day-to-day basis? The person or the institute or the company or the business you work for. That is the reason most of us can't even fathom running a business, because the exercise, the muscle of doing so was never activated in the first place. We are designed to create, implement, and offer what we've created to the world. How can you do that working for someone else and not knowing any of the processes it takes to get something like that to the masses? In fact, that muscle atrophies if it ever existed. Thus, the American school system. That's what it has done to you. It has given you this cushy thing to think about and to have in the future. If I go to this and I get this and I get this paper and I get into so much effing debt that I can't imagine, then I'll be fine. It is freaking ridiculous. But I digress. So YouTube is a place where people like me who have always known that there's something wrong with me. I cannot exist in this world with all these folks that don't like me and act and behave as if everything is okay because I'm at work and I got to keep my mouth shut. Let me tell you, I've got let go from so many jobs, not for performance, because I spoke truth to power. So if you're like me, then you've probably been fired a few times. Though I won't state that on a resume. First thing they ask you, you ever be fired? Oh, am I stupid? Yeah, I've been fired because the guy didn't like me because I was selling more than him at the Foot Locker store when I was in college. Yeah, he got rid of me. Oh, and fast forward until the past 3 months. Yeah, a girl at work, some black chick didn't like me, and then she went and me too'd me. This has been my complete existence. I cannot be a fucking man anywhere without someone not liking me. And you know what? That's the play. Black men are under this gaslight situation that no matter what we do, everyone, including our women, is waiting to say, oh, I'm going to guilt you, shame you, figure out the way to bring you down because why you think you the shit. And I do. That doesn't change how I think about you. I think you are as well. I think we all are. And that's the problem. I treat everybody the same. I treat everybody with kindness and love. It's one of the reasons I'm really good with clients and my sales career was astronomical because I never got caught up in the butt kissing aspect of anyone's profile. And they appreciated that in me. Rich people, people with money, people doing stuff don't like ass kissers. And I've never been. So I've always been able to appeal to people like that. But everyone in between didn't like it, that I was extremely comfortable in my skin. And so I think this is a place for a black man. Finally, everyone's trying to shut us up. We're online doing our thing. We're talking. Women are talking all of this crap. And black men finally have a place where they could come and be heard. Not all of us are what you call us. Now, a percentage of every race is a piece of shit. But not all black. In fact, black men are some of the most desirable men in the world. Guess what? After all the shit they've done to us for the past, name the centuries, how come we're still, and the only reason we're number 2 and not number 1, we are still the top males desired on the planet. Go figure. No matter what happens, they can't rub us out. That tells you that, let alone, we would smoke their ass in every category. But our women have been convinced and told otherwise. The brainwashing is so complete that I don't even think there's any way back from it. Drizzle, Gen X Black Man Channel. That's what this is all about. Why am I saying this? Is because I don't really participate in this crap. I'm not even on the dating market. I don't even date. And when I was doing my thing, I didn't have to quote unquote date. I met women. I had a personality that attracted them. I was in the entertainment industry all my life. I'm still in it. I then added barbering and cosmetology to that. Okay, all women, a heterosexual man in this environment. I've never had trouble meeting women. And in fact, women that constantly had to come at me to figure out what was going on because I figured it out. The more you mind your business, the more they're intrigued and want to know what's going on with you, especially if you're handling your business and taking care of it. You appear to be moving in a direction, you're going somewhere. It was as simple as that. So 51% of us are in the middle class, childless. All this positive stuff about us, never mentioned. Okay? So anyway, I'm in this boat of men. Hell, I'm not even from this country. Of any time I walk in a room, I'm assigned all of these stereotypical things, including our women, some of the worst at it, that I have to defeat. So I know I've always been uncomfortable. I've never, that is where I don't exist in this world. I'm not wanted, not needed. I get it. And finally, it came to a head. After all of my experiences in life, I said, you know what? I've done entrepreneurial things, but it's time to really sever completely and move on to a platform that can make that happen. And I was always there before my hair channel and this and that, kind of poking in, trying to figure it out, but never got there. I guess I was presumptuous. I thought because I had film background, I was pretty confident, overly confident that I could do this. That was my downfall. It does take a pretty picture, but YouTube is way more than that. There are people that have YouTube channels that have millions of subscribers and views, and they don't know anything about cameras, nor telling a story or putting together a script. It's something about the human experience and it being authentic that other people really enjoy. So yeah, man, that's what's been going on. So that I did mention something about our community, right? And the reason why I even mention this, it's my channel. I come up with anecdotes and I always step in and have something to offer, 5 cents, if you will. And a couple of weeks ago, because I was invited to church by Mama, I thought it was the question of mine came to me, how many men will I see in church? And so I did a piece on Black men not being in church and the harsh reality of it. The conclusion I came to is that it is the same. And how I came to it was that there was a correlation between men not being in the home or being forced out of the home and Black men not showing up to church. We were told that we're not wanted. Why would I then show back up to a place that is designed for women? It's a gynocentric experience. Church is for women. Why would I then show back up to the church after being told for 60, 70 years, in so many words, you ain't shit and I don't want you? Why would I go to that place? Church used to be a place where men used to go to meet women. Why not? If you're a marrying man or you're looking for a relationship, hell, even if you're just hustling and parking lot pimping, men used to go to church for women. That's why we went to church. Why aren't men going to church and women are there? Because we don't want to be there with the women. We were there because of the women. When we thought Baby Baby Please was working and love songs and all that stuff may have some effect on our relations. But now Black men are done. And that was the conclusion I came to after reading a few dissertations, talking to pastors and talking to a few people. The pastors didn't get it themselves. So what's going on? Right after I did this piece and was forced to contemplate and think about this scenario that's playing out right in front of our faces. The ships are setting sail on boats. Men are leaving. 1 or 2 weeks after that, I'm turning on my YouTube research channel time in the morning after listening to some inspirational people. I float around to see what's happening, and I come across to the Manosphere channels that I watch and support. Not all of them are men. There are a couple of women that are actually really good at talking to women about this stuff. And it's exploding all over the internet. This word, drizzle, drizzle. You know what men did? They sat back and said, okay, you guys want to talk all this crap and shame men as if, as a child being born through my creator, two of us being born, that at some point I owe you some shit that's astronomical. You're on a pedestal and my humanity no longer exists only so that I can put you on a pedestal and kiss the ass that you have facing towards me. I don't know what has happened with the dynamics of how women think about men, but men will always and still are the prize. If you want a man to be a protector, provide, and then you finally find that man, have you not found a prize? I don't know what's wrong with women these days. It is completely ridiculous. And whatever you've been taught, it's going to all come crashing down, I thought at the time, but I didn't know it would happen 2 weeks later. Drizzle, drizzle. Men are fucking tired. We're tired. You don't want us, you don't need us. That's what drizzle, drizzle is. You want to date a man and he needs to make $100,000, $200,000 a year. Meanwhile, you can't rub two damn nickels together. Don't get it. Men are getting tired of it. And that is the conclusion I came up with some time ago. I've always wanted to get married. I've always wanted to start a family. Why? Because that was the example showed to me by my grandfather in Trinidad. He married his wife early on in their teens, had 10 children, worked his butt off, raised them all, brought them to New York. I only have one template I want to follow. I don't know what's going on here in this country when I got here. So, young, dumb black boy, not knowing that the girl next to me thinks she's better than me, and that me minding my business, doing my schoolwork made me a target a number of times in school. I used to get up at an hour early when I was in the 5th grade to go play baseball in New York City. It's a big thing. We played baseball all the time throughout the entire year. And in the 5th grade, two of our classes, we had two teams that used to battle like Little League World Series type baseball. So much so, the teachers started showing up. And at the end of the year, they put together a World Series for us where the whole school came to watch us play. That's how hard we played this game and how much we loved it. It kept us out of trouble. So, as I'd always do, I showed up to school early, but I left my stick, not the bat, but we were playing stick ball in New York. So I went into the classroom to get my stick ball, my stick from playing. Anyway, I walk into this class. School doesn't start till 8:15. I walk into this class at 7 a.m., leave home early in the 5th grade. How old am I? 10? 9? Mom, I'm out. Where you going? I'm going to school. Cool. I don't know if she believed me or not, but I'm out. I get to school. I get to my classroom. This is the 4th grade, I think. 4th or 5th grade. No, 5th grade. And when I walk in, there's this girl in the classroom. And she has my stick. Now, it was red. Mine was red and it had black tape around it. And it was really lightweight. But anyway, so I walk in the classroom at 7 in the morning to go get my stick. And there's no one at the school. It's just me and a couple of my buddies that are starting to get here. And she's here. What are you doing? Let me get my stick. No. It was in the 5th grade. I had women antagonizing me already. And this is what you guys do. You find a good man, somebody that's doing his thing. And once you find him and he doesn't give you any attention, instead of figuring out a cool way to show a man that you're interested in him, you guys do all kinds of shit. This girl wouldn't give me my stick. And then when I reached to grab it, she threw it on the ground. And when I reached to pick it up, she started a fight with me. Guess who got in trouble for that? And who would never live it down until this day. I hit a girl. She started to fight. She showed up an hour early to antagonize me. Every time I saw her in school, she had something funny to say. She was talking about me, my clothes, my this, my that. She always had something to say, but she had a boyfriend, and I didn't even really worry about it. I didn't even worry about girls like that at that point. To her, she had to step it up another level. And this is the thing that men have to go through throughout their entire lives. So my first time being subjected to this was in the 5th grade. I didn't know what was going on. You know what they told me after a while? She liked you. I was like, well, she completely antagonized me for half a year. So much so that she realized that this guy ain't tripping, that she had to come up in my face and make it happen for real. So anyway, this is the type of experience that men are having, and that men like me who was not completely unaware, not part of this process in any way, just wanting to get married. I wanted to go to school, get out of high school, find my wife somewhere in my early 20s and start a family. It took me almost 12, 15 years to find that. And when I did, I just had to settle because I ended up with some 30-year-old boss chick. I didn't know anything about what I was dealing with. I had no idea. I was a very innocent, dumb, young man. Why? I never had a man around me to teach me these things. Sure, I had uncles. My mom had men around her. Not one time did any of my 6 uncles, let's take 2 off because they're close to me in age. My other 4 uncles, grown men working, doing everything. I was the firstborn of my generation. Their sister had a boy, the first child, the first nephew. And I didn't have one of these 4 grown men come to me and sit me down and teach me anything about manhood. Not once, ever. So it's not just about having men around you. It's about having the right type of men around you. And women, you choose. Stop complaining about what you choose. I'm tired of this crap. And then you keep choosing the same bums, and then you cast aspersions on all men. Most of the time, 80% of the time, if y'all want to use that number, because 80% of the time you guys divorces, 80% of the time the man doesn't want to leave. It's you guys. Okay? So these are the reflections of a black man, man. So I'm trying to stay away from these topics, but this one was so important because of the visit to church and it being a post in my YouTube, content creation process, that it was something that just jumped out at me. Ladies, all of a sudden y'all want to talk. So what do we do now? It's always the same with anybody that has the upper hand, that has been working your ass, whooping your ass. As soon as you get your hand around their neck, it's time to talk. No, we don't want to talk about shit. We're done. And I'm done with this subject in this matter. So that is the update on my YouTube channel, the book, and everything else in the process. So what I've homogenized this thing down to is I'm in the groove enough where I'm not uncomfortable with producing content on a schedule. So there's a schedule now. It may vary, but my content on 2 channels need to be produced twice a week on 1 channel and 1 live at least here. At least. That means at any given point I can jump on and say whatever, but I have to produce 1 live here and produce a show that's worthy enough for conversation. My reading club, I'm reading Black AF History. And I put out a post today on Facebook because I read in the morning and I want to encourage people to read, but not just for a reading club, but for enlightenment. That's one of the reasons I read nonfiction. And that's all I talk about. Now I read fiction as well, but it's something that will never be introduced or brought into this setting. You know, read extracurricular, enjoy yourself, but also read to add to your body of knowledge. And if you're a black person, you got to pick this one up. You have to. It's called Black AF History, and it's by my man, Michael Harriet. Hilarious, but historically accurate. I learned something every page and every day, every chapter from this brilliant piece of work. What I've learned recently is that Virginia was founded first and established as the first slave trading state. Soon thereafter, I believe it was North Carolina. And during that time, once the establishment of it, the charter for that state was made and slavery was ingrained, they were still trying to figure out how to bring slaves in and cultivate the land. They were trying to plant things that were not plantable. And there were investors from the Caribbean, slaveholders, that were attempting to purchase land in America to keep their enterprise going and to grow it. Let's get in on the American slave trade system and let's make more money than we were making before. So they bought the land, and this is just a topical explanation. I don't like to give them names. That is not what I like to do. I don't like to give them names nor credibility. But just another group of unscrupulous, soulless devils looking once again to capitalize. And when they bought this land and they moved people in, they could not plant crops, not the ones that they were planting in the Caribbean. And they started to die off. But they noticed the slaves who were living on their own, because obviously, if they're dying of starvation in their own communities, we're not living with them. They don't want us there. So the black people are living in their own space, even though they're slaves. And they started realizing that black people were extremely comfortable in their own skin. They soon found out that the black folks were growing their own crops. They were not starving to death. And the crop at that time they were growing was rice. It was the first cash crop that was ever introduced to the United States. And it was done, well, the Americas, and it was brought in by, once again, African people, black people. It was the first time that rice was raised in an environment that it was not well suited for. There had to be irrigation, water inflow, water outflow. And all of these processes were developed and implemented by black people that were growing rice while these North Carolinians in the 1600s, early 1600s, were dying off. So you know what happened. They came in, they stole the technology, they stole the food, and they started making black people raise rice for them. So it's a two-sided coin when you read something like this. It breaks my heart, every page, every chapter, to find out the atrocities. But it sets me back to level. It lets me know that I'm on my own in this place. And there's nobody who doesn't look like me that's on my side. And they'll laugh in your face and they'll be your friend. But soon as there's a policy that supports black people, they won't vote for it. Soon as they see another policy, general policy, that either locks us up or restricts access, they vote for that. And then you go back to work and you sit right next to Katie. And you have a meeting with Biff. And Biff doesn't even know how racist he is, but you need to know. And that's what something like this does for us. If I could purchase any book, it wouldn't be mine. It would be this book. And I would purchase it millions of times and give it out to 300 million black people in this country and assign this as reading. The other thing I would do is to make sure that they watch this documentary that I'll be working on right now. I'm using this documentary. It's well done. And I'm going to give complete credit to this person. But what we're going to do is we're going to do what you call a reaction video on a documentary about the American school system. That's next. When you find out what has been done to us, and then you look out on who we are and what we are and how we move today, it will bring tears to you. How were we so easily manipulated? Why are we so ignorant and stupid in the way of psychological manipulation? What's wrong with this? We can figure out everything. We could invent medicines, procedures, heart surgery processes, invent the light bulb, but yet we can't figure out how to get these motherfuckers off our back. It's crazy. It's killing me, man. It's completely killing me. And I carry this on me every day. I don't want a job from them. I don't want to be near them. I don't want to be in the same communities with them. I don't want to drink from the same water faucet. I don't want nothing to do with them. But people think something's wrong with me. Read this, and then you'll find out something is wrong with you. Trust me. Read a chapter a day. The chapters are pretty good, dude. They're normally like 10, 15 pages. They're not that long, and they're chucked with an immense amount of historical information. And that's where I found out about the rice production in this country. And it was only a half a page. He is brilliant. Please follow him. I don't get anything from it. But what I'll do is when I get an opportunity, I'll go over to this transmission, this post, and I'll put the link to his book there. I'll also put it on my site, Black AF History. It was also one of the things I needed to talk about. I know the book of the month. This was last month. I'm still reading it, and I'm going to take my time. This book will stay on my top list, and I will keep it in front of you. I may add another book, but this one will stay in the rotation as far as conversation ongoing. Yeah, I guess you can tell I'm a black man. And I'm about us. And I'm not just about one segment of our community as opposed to the other. I'm about the entire thing. So women, cut it the fuck out. You guys get it in line. Because when all is said and done, everything you see around us and everything black men have done is reflected in this country. We don't have anything without the black man in this country. Nothing. Even to the point now where they're starting to induct rappers into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We ain't rock and roll. Do you remember? It would never last. It's ghetto music. It's all of this is degrading. It's everything else but a beautiful art form that we created. They did the same thing with graffiti and breakdancing and pop locking and everything else. But guess what they're doing now? After they've made millions and billions of dollars over it over the past 50 years. Okay, it's not so bad. We got our hands in it. We done made a lot of money off of it. Okay. Let's institutionalize. Let's pull hip hop into our no, we don't want to be over there. Buy the shit and shut the fuck up. But no, we don't want to be in your goddamn Hall of Fame. Guess what we got? Our own. Hip hop has a Hall of Fame in New York City. Guess where I'm going when I visit? And I can't wait. I can't wait. So once again on this camera thing, man, I'll have to figure it out. I will, but it's nothing wrong with the break in between. I have a DSLR camera, and I'm telling you, there's so many things that you have to master when you're doing this. This camera, professional camera, one of the top. It's a really good camera. It's not even designed for this. And that's probably one of the reasons this image is so sharp. But what it does have on it is a timer. So it won't waste the battery or wear out the chip that's inside of it that receives the light. It will turn this thing off after about a certain amount of minutes, 15, 20 minutes. I need to go into this camera, check the setting, and do some research amongst all the other things I have. I need a team. Anybody out there wants to join my team, you have to have some skills. Just let me know. There's a lot of work here, but I am telling you, I'm soon to join another challenge program and pay a mentor, a gentleman that has been on YouTube for about 15 years. He was an OG YouTuber, but he's a young guy, but he's in his, I guess, late 30s, early 40s, a black man, a black young man compared to me. I'm going to reach into my pocketbook once again and assign thousands of dollars. I've been looking for a coach, a personal coach. After I did what I'm supposed to do, because it's only so much a coach can do for you. If you haven't put together, like my book says, the basic rudimentary skills, the legacy of learning, and that's what it's about, go over to legacylearningcube.com. There should be a link in the bottom and click it. Get your GPA cheat sheet. You need to have the basic steps put together. But by the time you start your entrepreneurial journey, if you haven't done the work already to get to that intellectual level, then you'll have to go backwards first. Get the legacy of learning. Use that. If you don't need it, give it to someone that looks like you, that needs to master their intellectual processes, so that then they can get to a position and make a decision on their purpose in life. So that's what's going on, man. Sometimes I fall off, but yeah, this is a call officially. If you want to learn something about this business and you want to work with me, if you have a background in film, or if you don't mind putting in a lot of work, because it's going to take some right before I become monetized, then holla, man. RonRaphael.com. That's my website. You can go in there and email me, or you can go to ronraf@gmail.com. That's my other Gmail. So anyways, a bunch of ways to reach me. Legacy of Learning is my passion, my calling. That is my other channel. And Ron Raphael, the Black Gen X man, is where you find me now. If you're listening, I appreciate you. It's kind of rough doing this in the beginning without anyone listening or watching. But that's what they say. Often you have to build it alone. Noah told the man upstairs, told him, go build this thing. Go build that ark, he told him. Everyone thought he was a fool, and he had to do it alone. Then he told them, bring 2x2. I'm trying to bring 2x2. You guys come along with me with the ride of nothing else. And let learning be your legacy. And let here be the place where you come to listen to a black man, a Generation X black man, reflect and have insights on what it is like to be not just a regular guy, but to be a guy who has aspired and worked his life off as a black man and what this world has to offer him and the situation he's in. Black Gen X man, Ron Raphael. I catch you next time on my next transmission. Let me see if I did everything that I needed to talk to you about. Yeah, I talked to you about the black community and the situation with love, about the church scenario and why I went to church, and about Drizzle. Man, the money's in your pocket. And if someone doesn't give you respect, kindness, forget all that, my bad, doesn't give you the baseline level of respect, keep your money in your dang pocket and go where people will respect you before you pull it out. Our women don't respect us. The next thing is let go. You got something you need to do in life and you're working on someone's job, that's not your calling. Find a way to let go. The floor is this close. You're not too far from it. We all need each other to do this so we all can support and buy and create our own community. We know they will come to burn it down, just like they did Black Wall Street in Tulsa and everywhere else. They will try this time. But if we're on one accord and we're together and we're all strapped, yeah, I'm a gun proponent. I'm not a gun advocate. However, I think we all should have the right to protect ourselves, but there should be laws, another conversation entirely. But yeah, man, the best thing could have happened to us was segregation. It was something else that backfired. But somehow they figured it out, man. They figured out how to separate us. And we're not taking it anymore. Black men, do your thing. Get out this country. Go start black communities elsewhere. Restart the communities. When black women join into white women, you're joining white society. And guess what happens after a while? When they get tired of you, they take your DNA and they kick you the fuck out. And that's what's going on right now. The next thing you'll probably hear from me is the piece on public schools and what it is doing to our brains and our minds. And that is going to be on the legacy of learning. And I'll see you sometime next week, most likely on this day, which is Wednesday, somewhere around this time. Look for the posting. I'll let you know. But Wednesdays is the day you'll find the Gen X black man, me, the black Gen X content creator, doing his thing live. If you indeed would like to, be part of this process, I'm looking forward to that time and that, interaction that may happen with viewers. But I got to work towards that point. So I'll set it up soon where you can either drop messages in the bottom line, chat area, which I haven't turned on today, or you can call in and chime in guests and so forth. So I'm building this thing, man, and I'll be there soon. Look for it very soon. I've reached out to a few people that I want to have come on to a couple of my shows. We're working out the scenarios, the topics, and I'll see you guys soon. Ron Raphael on the Black Gen X Man. I'm out. And you guys find your favorite place. Peace.